Hi, my name is Nur Damia binti Ahmad Saifuddin from AC2203E. Today I will summarize the article about revising the budgeting model challenges of implementation at a university. Considering its budgetary methodology, Brock University actually witnessed considerable difficulties. A fresh viewpoint on the connection between income production and resource allocation was being considered by senior administration. They debated a model where resources would be distributed to units to support mission-oriented activities that sustain or raise suitable levels of revenue, moving beyond the traditional activity-based budget model where activities drive resource distribution. Even while it is possible to say that resource allocation is based on revenue creation, there is really a middleman that connects the two modules. Regarding the suggested budget model, significant difficulties were encountered during the planning and execution stages. The model was challenging for stakeholders to see and comprehend in terms of how it would affect the budgeting process. Working with stakeholders to acquire their opinions and suggestions on the budget model took a lot of effort. Because it was difficult to communicate the model's subtleties and how they related to mission-focused efforts, Brock University decided not to implement a new budget model since there were considerable personnel changes at the senior administrative level over the 5-year research period. Together with the other factors mentioned, it was difficult to apply such a sophisticated budget model in a complex organization. Based on my studies, activity-based budget is to create a budget that is specifically based on the organization's activities and resources. Examining certain cost drivers enables improved decision-making and resource allocation to meet organizational aims even while it adds to the system's complexity. Activity-based budget has changed to better represent organizational processes in a variety of settings. The literature has praised activity-based budget as a way to connect the inputs and outputs of public sector agencies. As a result, using activity-based budget in a university setting could be advantageous. This article is divided into 4 sections, which are an overview of the budgeting and higher education literature, methodology followed for this case study, the key players as Brock University re-examines its budget and how it changed, what can be learned from this situation and how it can be applied in other situations, and also the problems encountered. Budgeting in higher education is described as the collection of procedures and decisions connected to the resources provided by the central administration to the numerous departments and divisions of an organization. It is frequently challenging to assess organizational performance in non-profit organizations according to Mensa et al. 2019, who also add that recently public sector institutions have witnessed a change from input-based control budgets to output and outcome-based performance metrics. Budgeting at public institutions can be considered as playing a variety of functions, from tactical planning to strategic planning. The value of looking at budgeting from a political perspective, including how it may be utilized for political negotiation or as a means of retaining power and control. It is common to find that different parts of a university, even those that make money from tuition and government funding, cross-subsidize other parts. Each institution has unique requirements, political viewpoints, and problems with power and control. The literature that is now available highlights each environment and its effects. A goal of qualitative research is to employ some of the language of the topic in a mostly inductive, descriptive, interpretative fashion, and to maintain some of the complexity and integrity of the scenario under examination from distinct views. To sum up, the 5 separate budgeting reports created between February 2009 and April 2012 serve as the primary data set for this study. Either the general public or the Brock University faculty had access to the budgeting reports via a staff portal. The reports were examined for details regarding the procedure, timetable, and changes between the reports as part of the content analysis. Discrepancy led to Resource Allocation Working Group to conclude that a number of steps had to be taken before the whole incentive-based budgeting model could be put into practice. Due to its complexity and capacity, the Resource Allocation Working Group opted to construct the budget in phases rather than an initial comprehensive activity-based budget model. Resource Allocation Group agreed to create the ideas required for the modules of an activity-based budget for the first report Brock University Resource Allocation Model, which was released in February 2009. One of these modules involved the award of a block grant to pay the cost of all support service units. They would be able to start deploying the Brock University Resource Allocation Model if they avoided the support service units. So what can I learn from this situation? The goal of the Resource Allocation Working Group was to improve academic program quality by rewarding excellence in research, scholarship, and creative endeavor. The budgeting models suggested measurements for research and artistic endeavors required to be measurable and compared to other budgeting models. In the end, the Resource Allocation Working Group was unable to meet its deadline requirements for delivering the revised budget model. Significant delays were brought on by delays in the data collection for the income generation module and the consultation procedure. How it can be applied? So it provided an overview of Brock University's academic policies and objectives, as well as information on its 3 top priorities, which are serving the needs of the 21st century learner by putting students first, efficiency, productivity, and benefits, creating transdisciplinary research hubs and new graduate and undergraduate programs, and creating a network of partnerships that support economic growth through entrepreneurships, innovation, and creativity. How the problems encountered? Consequently, my study has demonstrated that there is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all budgeting model. Instead, budgeting models should be tailored to the business and its resource distribution. When a strategic decision and a coercive opinion conflict with chances to generate cash, there are serious issues. With the right research and feedback from the right users, a meaningful budgeting model may be developed. This includes cost contribution, quality metrics, and compatibility with the organization's strategic goal. The final budget model should not be predicated on formulas. Instead, it should take into account the unique requirements of the company and provide room for mediation to decide how resources are allocated in the end. Resources will be allocated with the help of the data collection process, not the other way around. The budget model created at Brock University expands on activity-based budget by adding a mediatic link between resource allocation and revenue production. The novel viewpoint presented in this research could provide other universities fresh perspectives on the value of mission-driven unit cross-subsidization within an activity-based budget model, as well as suggestions for how to implement it and identify any potential downsides. Transparency in its conception and implementation may be essential to its success. That's all from me. Thank you for listening.